let's talk about the Caedrel versus K-Corp beef. Caedrel versus K-Corp beef. So Caedrel and K-Corp, they were beefing hard on Twitter, and it's because of a couple clips, right? So this was the tweet that started it all.
We will be able to boo Faker with 15,000 people.
So the context is the Red Bull League of Its Own is like a event that they do in France, or well, it's an event that they're holding in France. I think last time it was actually in Berlin, but it's an event that all the Red Bull sponsored teams like go to, or a lot of the Red Bull sponsored teams go to. T1 and K-Corp are going to be there, and it's going to be in Paris. And the K-Corp fan here is making a joke about we'll be able to boo Faker with 15,000 people. The reason why he's making this joke is because at the last, there was like a K-Corp versus the world tournament that T1 went to. And at this tournament, there was like a small amount of K-Corp fans. I think it was actually a small amount because Yamato was there. And, you know, like he has every reason to be. I mean, Yamato's just an honest guy. He wouldn't lie about something like this. He said that there was actually only a small amount of K-Corp fans that were booing, but it was picked up on the mic. And those people were condemned for it by like the fan base, the community, everything like that. So this person is making a joke as like a KC fan where it's like, oh, Faker's coming. We're gonna boo with 15,000 people. Now I think that Caedrel didn't understand it was a joke immediately, and that's why he had this reaction.
Honestly, if T1 rock, what a disgusting tweet. Listen, if T1 rock up to this Red Bull League of Its Own and all the K-Corp fans boo Faker, I think K-Corp should be kicked from the LEC and banned. That's disgusting. That is disgusting.
Look, honestly, with K-Corp fans, you can't tell most of the time, though. Like, you can't tell. So the reason that he gets triggered like this, it's because of who the K-Corp fans like are in general. And I'm so tired of seeing all these fan bases that like cater to really mentally ill portions of their fan base by not condemning them like enough, where people will use the fact that the fan base is active in order to justify everything that happens from the fan base. They'll be like, oh, well, I mean, K-Corp is just so popular. Who cares if we have thousands of like ill fans? Like the only reason other teams don't have thousands of ill fans is because they don't have as many fans of us. It's like, no, you guys have more mentally ill fans because the people that act super mentally ill most of the time were not like thrown out of the fan base, or they're not condemned in the fan base. If you look at the reactions, like when somebody leaves K-Corp because of the fact that it's such like a culture of like, it's us versus them, right? If somebody leaves K-Corp, look at Linkus's tweets this entire split. Every time Linkus lost, he is a rookie player. He is somebody who chose to left the team, which is completely fine to do, by the way. As a player, you have no obligation to have loyalty to the organization that you're playing for. You have a contract, you play for that team. If you get another opportunity that you perceive as a better one, you should take that opportunity. The orgs will never be loyal to you, right? K-Corp would never be loyal to Linkus. If Linkus played bad, he would get removed, right? So why should he be loyal to an org if he thinks that there's a better opportunity somewhere for him, right? So Linkus thought there was a better opportunity in Vitality. Go look at every single time that he loses a game, bro. When this guy is at his lowest, you have K-Corp fans flaming him. And the thing is, it's not like those are a small subsect of fans that are, you know, shunned by everyone, where it's like, oh, we just have this toxic subset of fans. The problem is that those people will just go around and they're just part of the fan base generally. And Kameto does his best to try to like voice on stream, hey, this type of behavior is not acceptable. But something about the fan base is too rabid, and there is still a lot of people that have this need to go around and harass everyone. There's a reason why everyone who is not French and not part of the K-Corp fan base says that the K-Corp fan base is the most mentally ill in the EU like LEC scene. There's a reason why. It's not because everyone just like, I know what they always say. The K-Corp fans go, it's because we're French and everyone hates French people. No, it's not just pure like hatred for your country and stuff like that. It is because of the behavior that is seen. I'm somebody who's American. I'm not part of that EU stuff where like, I know that EU people, they like always flame Polish and French people and solo queue and all that stuff. I had no like biases towards anything like that. I don't give a fuck what country you're from in Europe. When I talked about anything K-Corp related, if you say anything negative about K-Corp, you just get ridiculous hatred. You get ridiculous hatred. The only thing close to it is Mad Lions. Like, it just is what it is. And it is like on a different level. I mean, K-Corp fans were openly threatening my life, like openly threatening my life when I was in Europe. Like, they would just tweet out like, oh shit, you're in Berlin, we're coming to find you. And those tweets would have like 15 likes, 20 likes, just like an open death threat like that, where they're like, yeah, we're gonna come fucking find you. It's just, those people kept their accounts, like they're still part of the fan base, and I made sure to like tag these accounts to see if they're active. And it's not like these people are exiled from the community. This is like considered a good thing. It's like, it's one of those things where no one's gonna openly condone like them trying to come kill me or them saying they're gonna try to come kill me, but it's like one of those things where the K-Corp fan base like gives them that nod of approval, you know? It's that nod of approval where it's like I can't openly like condone what you said or what you did, but it's like, yeah, you're one of us, bro. You're taking down our enemies. If he goes to in Berlin and kills me, it's like, oh, that's a solid 1-for-1, bro. That's a solid 1-for-1 honorable thing. You know, like that's the vibe of the fan base, and everyone feels that shit. So there's a reason why everyone hates K-Corp fans, or like everyone talks negatively about K-Corp fans, is because the level of mental illness is so much worse than the other fan bases.
Actually vile. You have no place in this esport if that's what you're gonna act like.
Yeah, so this tweet, to go back to it, Caedrel responded to this, which was a joke, like, and I don't think he understood it was a joke. So his response might not be correct in this small instance, but overall, it's still like, it's still exactly how everyone feels about K-Corp fans. There's like, it's like way too, I don't even know, like passion. There's way too much like toxic enthusiasm within that fan base compared to like what should be acceptable in esports. So anyways, what ended up happening was Caedrel responded to this on stream. K-Corp fans clipped it, and then they said this: fans of T1 send trucks and death threats to their team. Caedrel, no, that's like, number one, this is the same bullshit that all these fan bases do. They just lie about the person. They lie about what the person says, and then they beat that down. Caedrel has always been like, the trucks are disgusting. Like, he's had hate threads on Inven, or actually maybe it was DC Inside. Don't quote me on that. It's one of the Korean communities. He's had hate threads because he openly condemned the trucks and death threats to the T1 fans, or to the T1 players. So it's this thing that the fan bases always do, where they lie about you, and then they just beat down that lie. And it's like, what's the counterplay? Like, as a content creator, literally, what is the counterplay to this? When people just lie about you to make you look bad, and then like everyone just co-signs it, because obviously it would look really fucking stupid if Caedrel actually was like very pro the trucks and the death threats and was like, oh, this is just passion from T1. Like, if he was making excuses, yeah, then he would be a fucking idiot and he would be a hypocrite, right? Like, that would be the case. But he just doesn't do that. So I don't understand why this is such a prevalent thing in this community, where people openly lie about you. It's like very easily verifiable, by the way. Like, this is stuff that I literally remember distinctly happening. And I'm like somebody who's streaming at the same time as Caedrel. Like, I'm like not even like part of his fan base. Like, so it's something that is like a very blatant lie. But then they'll just still like beat it down, and then it'll get like 2,000 likes, and people that are on the outside will be like, oh wow, this Caedrel guy seems like a hypocrite. Like, he doesn't flame the T1 fans for sending trucks and death threat, but the second that we make a joke about booing, suddenly we're like the ones that are in the wrong, right? They make this point, and it's just bullshit. Makes joke about Gumlins who booed Caedrel, and then he responds to this. It's like, okay, here's my entire point. It doesn't even matter if Caedrel is correct about this one instance. Like, yes, maybe that was a joke. And Caedrel didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand until I read a bunch of it either, because you're translating it. We don't speak French, right? We don't know the community. Maybe in that specific instance, Caedrel was wrong, right? But overall, it's completely irrelevant to the overall point that Caedrel is making. The overall point about the K-Corp fans being way too passionate and being mentally ill and tweeting at everyone in the community and death threatening everyone in the community, and just like having this just be an open thing is up. Like, the way the K-Corp fans act does not belong in esports, bro. This is like some really mentally ill, like K-pop stan level ridiculous action that needs to be corrected, or somebody's gonna legitimately get hurt, bro. There's already been like fights at the studio and stuff. People are gonna take it too far. like always, bro. What next thing is that it ends up being something like a fucking football match where you have fan bases. People literally die at football matches because people are so mentally ill about football in Europe. Like, that's like the next step when this type of behavior is left unchecked, because people whip themselves up into excitement, and then when they collide with other fan bases, it becomes a real fucking big issue. Anyways, this is what Caedrel says. He says, yes, and I stand by it. Saying you want to boo Faker with 15,000 people is disgusting and unacceptable. And I stand by that. Those fans have absolutely no place in this esports, so please shut the fuck up. Look, I think you should be allowed to boo. I guess this is like a small place where I disagree. You should be allowed to boo. Like, it happens in every sport. If you want to boo somebody with people, like, I think it's fine. You know, like when my Heat play in Boston, the Celtics are booing us the entire time. Celtics fans are booing us the entire time. When they come here, you know, they're booing us, whatever. If there's worlds held in Europe and the fans want to boo the opposing team and cheer on their team, I think that like it doesn't look good. It's not a good look. It's not something that I really like care about or really want, but I think it should be allowed. You should be allowed to boo. Even if it is Faker or whatever, I think you should be allowed to boo if you want. But I think that the other part is 100% true. Like, this part that Caedrel's about to say, I think this is 100% true. I'm sick of these KC Ultra fans tweeting or DMing the most disgusting things to players who leave their organization. Fact, we literally just see it. Go to any of Lince's tweets. Casters who comment badly about their team. Streamers who give their opinion or joke around. Wonder who could be talking about here. Like, we've seen this with literally every streamer who's criticized K-Corp. And even now, one of the most inspirational figures in this game who is nothing but a role model to everyone else. Not sure if they would go this far, but yeah, okay. It's gotten to the point where people are actually afraid to be honest about KC, and that's sad. It happens with every fan base. People are afraid to be honest about KC. They're afraid to be honest about T1. They're afraid to be honest by Mad. The psycho fan bases have this type of feeling around it. I was a huge fan of KC community and even supported it where I could for years when they joined the LEC because of how much I thought they deserved it. Meadow has always been one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to, and it's just sad that a handful of extreme side of the fan base acts like this and misrepresents the real fans or fan opinions by having disgusting behavior. It's getting way too out of hand, and I'm kind of done with people just avoiding the fact that it's gotten this bad. Facts. Literally fucking facts. Like, people are just afraid of the KC fans. Casters are afraid of the KC fans. Have you noticed that, like, when casters are going to, like, tweet anything, remember before where it was, like, fine to, like, joke around about teams? Think about how the vibe is with G2. Like, if G2 plays bad, you'll just like tweet some shit like, God damn, like they're inting, like whatever. Like, I'm not going to make something creative and funny. You just tweet out something to the effect of, God damn, G2 is inting. And then the social media like team will like probably like be in there. G2 like LL Esport or like G2 LOL will be in your comments and they'll be like, yeah, we're inting, bro. It almost looked as bad as your career or something. Like they'll hit you back with it. It'll be this banter. G2 fans will know it's a joke. You'll know it's a joke. There'll be no hate under the thread. Like, it will just be what it is. People don't do that with K-Corp. People are afraid to do that shit with K-Corp because if you tweet anything that could be perceived as negative, it is like time to fucking go all out on you. Like, what did I tweet? The first thing I tweeted about K-Corp in LEC, I remember the exact first thing I tweeted about in their game where I was live tweeting. Targamas had a terrible Nami game, a horrible Nami game, and I said Targamas has been throwing a lot of Hillsong waves this game. Because Hilly was the Nami player that was always using his wave to engage, right? Like, he was always max range ulting with the Nami, trying to engage instead of using it for peel or using it at times where people couldn't dodge it. And that was enough to just get like massive amounts of hate, by the way. Like, that was enough for like the thread to just have a bunch of people being like, oh yeah, you're fucking disgusting, bro. Like flaming the players. This is where we draw the line. Like, all this type of shit. I'm like, dude, what are we doing actually? Like, we're mad about that? Like, if you know me, that is the most innocent joke I'll ever fucking make. You kidding me? Saying, oh, he has Hillsong Nami waves? Talking about this having some Hillsong waves? That's going to be enough to whip you guys into frenzy? It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, it's just a different world that you're going into. So then, Cote, which is, this guy is, like, he was like one of the founders and one of the main two guys of K-Corp, right? Said, this is the most absurd and unnecessary drama you have started this year. Caedrel has started like no drama this year. What other drama has Caedrel started this year? I feel like Caedrel doesn't start drama. It's such a weird thing to say, to open up with. It's just really disingenuous. And like when I see this from a person, I almost immediately, it makes me really wary of everything else I'm about to read. Because why would you open up with with this is the most absurd and unnecessary drama you've started this year. It makes it sound like Caedrel goes out and starts a lot of drama, but this one is the most absurd. That's how it sounds, right? Also, that's number one. Number two, it's like you could argue that he didn't start it. I mean, he's saying that he started by reading this on stream. Look, if you're a streamer and you're reacting to a bunch of stuff all day and you're giving your comments, you're going to be wrong about something, bro. Like, I was wrong about this Iwdominate stuff. Maybe Caedrel didn't interpret this right. You're doing everything live. If you're wrong about something, right, and like your point is still fine, how about you attack the actual point that he's trying to make instead of just really like honing in on like, oh, Caedrel's wrong about the situation. It was a joke. It was an obvious joke. He's wrong. He's starting drama. Instead of doing that, which gets you like the free points because everyone's like an idiot where it's like they just see it in black and white. So they're like who cares about the greater point? Was it a joke or was it not? Oh, it was a joke. Well, then Caedrel. Instead of doing that bullshit, how about we address the actual point he's trying to make? How about we address the actual point he's trying to make, which is that your fan base, the K Corp fan base, is like the most toxic and annoying fan base that we have in LEC. And since they joined, it has made the whole, like, it's put a dampen on the whole international part of the league because you are looking at that fan base and every caster, every streamer is just super conscious of getting insanely hard flamed for no reason. Let's continue this. He says, it's not hard to see. It's a joke. Nothing serious. I mean, it is kind of hard to see. It's a joke if you're just not French, I would say. Like when you read this stuff and you translate it and it's a literal, like it is kind of hard to see it's a joke. Like if I saw it, I would assume based on what I think of K-Corp fans and based on how they normally act, I would assume it's not a joke, right? Because they do things like Boo Faker, right? So who knows? Anyways, KC fans have attended numerous events without creating any problem. Last year, we welcomed T1 Valorant team who played in front of 28,000 K-Corp fans at KCX3. This was a great event, bro. There was no issue at all, and all their players said it was one of the best events they attended. We had Koi in 2022 with the rivalry and everything who played in front of our fans. No incident occurred. They have attended to multiple events from LFL, VCT, RL, etc. No incident. Thinking that will be totally different for T1 LOL team in KC home country in the event of our partner Red Bull and creating such a mess about it is just stupid or totally dishonest. But in the end, with how often fans are being badly painted, they will obviously end up being mad at you. Some will go too far and you will be able to say that you're in the right about them. That's classic in this industry. It's such a cope, bro. It's like, dude, that's what people are doing, man. That's what people are doing. Are you saying that all these content creators are just like, they're just being like, oh, it's just a small portion of fan, like they get these death threats and it's like, there's not actually a problem with K-Corp fan base toxicity. Look, if there wasn't a problem with K-Corp fan base toxicity, then why did Kameto tweet out after the whole Linkus shit where that shit was going crazy? Why did Kameto tweet out condemning those fans? Why did he feel the need to say something publicly? If there's no problem, then there's no problem. Then you don't address it, right? Like it makes no sense to me. So then why do you guys constantly, so why does Kameto on stream and on Twitter feel the need to condemn that portion of the fan base if it's just like not really like a big thing? You know, if that exists in every fan base and it's like, then it would just be par for the course with the industry and you wouldn't actually need to say anything, right? Caedrel responds, he says, waking up every day to toxic and annoying tweets about me or my colleagues or other people in the industry by KC Ultras is getting exhausting. Facts. Whether this tweet is a joke or not is completely irrelevant. That's what I literally just said. DMs or direct tweets or comments at us, it's nothing like I've ever seen before. And it's all started since Casey joined the LEC. Complete facts. Imagine if Casey was winning, bro. Imagine how bad it would be if Casey was winning. This is with K-Corp being like a bottom feeder for pretty much the whole time they've been in the LEC. Imagine if they were winning, what it would be like. You could enjoy ratioing or calling out that it's a joke, but this is like a constant daily trend and common sentiment among everyone that it's just completely out of hand. If you could even see the amount of people in the industry that like the initial tweet, it would also be a bit eye-opening. And I apologize if I'm the first one to directly call it out in this way. All right. Definitely not the first one to directly call it out in this way. But I'm done with just ignoring them on the daily. People are actually afraid of speaking about Casey these days, and it's far from healthy. Do this. I completely agree. And there's obviously no response to this, right? Bro, saying in front of 20k viewers that KC fans want to destroy LEC Studio and saying every stream's bad things about us and will not, dude, Caedrel, like, oh man, I hate when people argue like this. It's so exhausting to see the way that people argue online. You think Caedrel just opens every stream and it's like, oh, by the way, K-Corp fans, like, what? dude, Caedrel is like one of the smartest people when it comes to brand safety and not alienating fans. Like, I'll tell you to your face, K-Corp fans, T1 fans, Mad fans, you're a fan of any of those teams, you're probably going to hear mean shit about those teams from my stream because I don't like with it the same way. Like, I'm way less tolerant of that shit. You think Caedrel just opens up the fucking stream and just starts flaming like K-Corp fans? He avoids flaming people as much as he possibly can. And if he does flame people, he doesn't do it in a way that's like intended to alienate the fan base. He will like dress it up in a way that's pretty much as like digestible as possible for the average viewer. That is like one of Caedrel's biggest strengths as a streamer, is that he doesn't alienate people, and he's like very good at controlling his emotions and like tanking a lot of fucking aggro from people, which is what's going to happen when you have as many viewers as he does. So it's like these types of tweets, it doesn't feel like you're arguing with real people. Like, I would love to actually get into a one-on-one, but what ends up happening when you argue with any of the people from these fan bases is like, you'll make a statement, then a bunch of them will pop up, make a bunch of shitty points, whichever one's the most popular, you'll respond to it, and then that person just disappears because they don't actually have something to like answer because there's no real response to the question. So it's just so useless arguing with these fan bases, man. And of course, like, Cote doesn't respond to this, right? He responds to the idea that like this was a joke and you're wrong, right? And then when Caedrel is like, hey, bro, doesn't even matter if it's a joke, I stand by my original sentiment. When he says he stands by it, sorry. When Caedrel says that, he's not talking about, I stand by the fact that it isn't a joke. If you're an idiot, that's how you interpret it. What he's standing by is the sentiment that like KC fans are out of control. That is what he's saying. It's so fucking blatantly obvious if you have eyes and you know how to read. That's what he's standing by. And of course, Cote beats down the one point that he can easily, right? It was actually a joke. Everyone saw it. And then when Caedrel responds with like, hey, bro, what I'm actually calling out, look, like, all right, if it was a joke, he didn't even say it here, but essentially, hey, if that was a joke, my bad. My problem is with the way your fan base behaves overall. Like, dude, other fan bases don't behave that way. Like, there is something that I'll say about Mad Lions fans. So for example, I've had more beef with Mad Lions fans than K-Corp fans. The small subset of fans from K-Corp openly death threatened me when I went to Europe. They're like, oh, you're in Berlin? We're coming. Like that type of shit. Mad Lions fans did not death threaten me. And they have a ton of fans too. And I had more beef with them. They just called me stupid and they lied about my career and like all that type of stuff, you know? They call me stupid, they lie about my career, they lie about my intentions and just essentially just, you know, act in miserable ways. But I guess that's more par for the course. I think that the place where I draw the line is like, I think like openly death threatening people is like probably where I draw the line. I'm still okay. Like personally, I'm still okay with people telling me to kill myself. Like I've been online for so long. Like I don't even view that shit as, it's not like, I know in this day and age, somebody tells you to kill yourself and you're like, oh heavens. Like you're supposed to have that response. For me, it's like, I'm just so fucking immune to it, bro. Like I've been online. Like I started doing esports related stuff in 2005. It is 2024. It's been almost 20 years. So for me, it's very easy to deal with like people telling me to kill myself. I think like the thing that is kind of strange is when people do death threat you, because there have been people that are famous online that have been killed before. And that's something that you don't know how serious it is most of the time. So that's for me, like where I think it's like, okay, when people are like, I am coming to kill you. Oh, you're here. I'm coming to kill you. It's fucking scary, bro. I remember when I was playing at LCS, like, that was right when Fantasy got released, like, you know, like the Fantasy thing on the LOL esports site. You used to be able to play Fantasy League of Legends on their site. They released it, and when like if I like didn't steal a kill as a jungler, like I would let my carries get the kill, and I didn't hit a certain kill threshold. I remember people saying that they were going to come to LCS Studio and shoot me, like while I was on stage. And I remember that did kind of fuck with my head at points because there was no security check. There was no bag check or anything. And it would have been very easy. Like you could just bring a gun to LCS, you know, like there was no metal detectors or anything in that day. So you could just bring a gun and you could just open up and like shoot, you know? And especially as somebody who's been robbed at gunpoint before, like been a victim of violent crime, whatever. Like I know how easy it is to get a gun and how easy it would be to, like, if you really were dedicated to that plan, like I want to kill IWillDominate on stage because he didn't get me a kill. It would be pretty easy to execute in that circumstance. So I don't know. I think that for me, like the death threats is where I really like draw the line. And yeah, okay. Now we're back into T1 Hanwha Live.